This has really been a drama for viewers of this program to watch from the night you stood here on this program and said you were going to act on what you had just learned about the possibility of issuing a subpoena to the Epstein estate. And here we are tonight.
Well, Lawrence, I said that because sometimes in all of the news, you and your team really haven't gotten the credit. But none of those emails would have come out. The emails with Jeffrey Epstein saying that Donald Trump was involved, that Donald Trump likely knew about this abuse. None of that would have come out if I wasn't on your program, if your team had not booked Bradley Edwards, and if Bradley Edwards hadn't made this obvious point saying, why is the Justice Department, why is the FBI not subpoenaing Epstein's estate? It was shocking to me they hadn't done that. And then Bradley Edwards said, look, if you subpoena that estate, I'm confident that they will comply. And your team connected Bradley Edwards with our team. And that's why we have these emails today. And that's why many more emails are going to come out. So they've done an incredible public service.
So it's a pretty dramatic day with that meeting at the White House that became public after the fact of Lauren Boebert, where they were obviously trying to pull at least one signature off the discharge petition. You cannot take your name off after it has been filed, but she could have taken her name off today and didn't. And here we are tonight.
Well, I'm not sure if the White House knew that, frankly. Thomas Massie and I were texting back and forth all day. I mean, we've been at this 5 months. We were concerned. I mean, they brought her, as you pointed out, into the Situation Room, where they plan things like the bin Laden raid. And here they are pressuring Lauren Boebert to get off. They did the same with Nancy Mace. But they held. And you know what? The dam is breaking, Lawrence. I appreciated your analogy to Nixon, because one of the things we saw with Nixon's end was Republicans started to desert him. And you're going to have a situation when Massie and my bill comes to the floor next week, which even the speaker now is saying that it will come. You're going to see 50, 60, maybe even more Republicans vote against him. That is a huge deal, not because of the work Massie and I are doing, because people are sensing the weakness of Donald Trump to be willing to cast that vote against him.
When we read things like Jeffrey Epstein saying that Donald Trump is the dog that hasn't barked, we can all apply our imagined interpretations of what that can mean. But what kind of investigation do you think is necessary to actually get at the meaning of that, especially given that it's an email to Ghislaine Maxwell, who is a living witness who could supply an explanation for what that email means, because her response to Epstein is very clearly, she said, I've been thinking about that, so she knows exactly what it means.
Well, I think we need to investigate and interview Maxwell again, although, of course, her credibility is not very high. But we also know that there are other emails. There are more emails that likely mention Donald Trump, and we need to investigate those and see really two things. I mean, there's a question about what happened with underage girls, but there's also a question of how many people, including Donald Trump, did they know about the abuse, and did they just sit there and not do anything with the abuse? And that is, in my view, equally damning. I mean, who does that if you know someone is raping junior high girls, to just sit there and still be friends with them? And this whole thing is going to come and be exposed, both Donald Trump and what I call the Epstein class. They need to have their day of accountability.
What do you expect to see next week? Is it just the vote on the discharge petition, or will there be any other developments next week?
Well, there'll be the vote on the discharge petition. Of course, the numbers matter, Lawrence. You're more of an expert on the Senate than I am. But the bigger the number in the House, the more likely there is that this gets taken up in the Senate. And I'd like it to get taken up in the Senate, because that's really obviously what will force the release. But it also will send an incredible message in this country of people standing up to Trump. There's also further investigation. We expect more document releases. And then we have a press conference on Tuesday Tuesday. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey and I, Bradley Edwards, and the survivors. And they're getting some of the survivors who haven't told their story before. And they're going to talk about what really is in these files and what they want to see in terms of justice.
Congressman Khanna, thank you very much for joining us once again tonight on this important story.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Thank you.